Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 607. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing a book, but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Writer Wednesday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh. If you're looking for me online, look for Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they can turn someone who barely sees themselves as a writer into a published book author. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. Courage is your natural setting. You do not need to become courageous, but rather peel back the layers of self-protective, limiting beliefs that keep you small. Vironika Tugaleva. It's the best shot I have at that name. Just such a brilliant quote. Obviously a brilliant person there. And once again, good morning. Happy Writer Wednesday. And for many, and let me add, many years in my business, various people, business friends and clients and just people who knew me encouraged me over and over to create content about the book writing process. But here's how I would answer like 99% of the time. But I don't know how to do what I do. It just comes naturally. It's gut instinct and intuition and creativity and just such a creative unicorn. And that's why I can't describe what I do. So blah, blah, blah. All the excuses in the book about why I couldn't create content to help others write a book, which is, of course, exactly what I do here on this show. So speaking of the show, 600 plus episodes of this show and years of my weekly Writer Wednesday emails, 5 books, and a veritable vault of blog posts and articles later, I think it's safe to say that, like the TV show, new Christine has effectively disproved old Christine's limiting belief about knowing how to communicate what she does to help others. And, at the center of this, I don't know how to do what I do, limiting belief that I carried around for so many years about how to write a book, were the exact steps of my book ghostwriting process. I just couldn't figure out how to communicate. It's like I can do it, but I can't teach it. I just had that belief for so many years. And, I've been helping clients write books dating back to 2001. But as I mentioned earlier, I spent years stuck behind a thick wall of denial about my ability to break down my process and teach it to others. And the process, as any of us know that have ever tried it, the process of self-awareness isn't like ripping off a Band-Aid, even just this week. So I've been working on this limiting belief for the last few years. Look at all the content I've created. But even this week, starting a new ghostwriting project for an awesome client, I discovered something else that I could teach that I didn't even know that I knew. I discovered 4 writing elements that I identify and develop at the start of every ghostwriting project. And again, before this week, I just doing and just not being aware of what I was doing. So yes, this realization comes nearly a couple dozen ghostwriting projects into my career. So I'm going to share those with you today. I think hopefully they'll help with your book writing projects. Here are 4 things that I explore before committing a single word to the page on my book projects. Number 1, style and tone. So what does your book sound like in your head? Is it formal? Is it informal, quiet, quietly contemplative? Or maybe it's like a vigorous motivational speech from a stage. Is it comedic? Is it tongue-in-cheek? Is it like really loud and raucous? Or maybe it's dreamlike. Maybe you're trying to transport your readers into a different world. What does your book sound like in your head? Before you start writing, stop to hear the style and tone of your book as it sounds in your mind. Number 2, the second thing I do before I start writing books, especially ghostwriting books, is I look for the theme or themes. What theme or themes will act as the glue holding together the collection of words, stories, and ideas in your book? For nonfiction, it might be an idea, whether from current events or maybe literature or history, something that parallels your book's message, usually something bigger, like the. It's like this, like the big analogy that connects your book together. Or for fiction, your theme could be related to a story or a character archetype or some other big picture thread that weaves itself through your story, some little seed of an idea. So look for the theme that holds it all together and really just, contemplate on that, meditate on that. Number 3, structure, the overall arc. And this comes straight from my book blueprint, and I'll put the link to that in the show notes. My book blueprint process. Be sure and map out and have a clear grasp of your book's overall structure and arc. And here's a structure hint for you. I'm going to try to put all the links in the show notes. Research hero's journey. That's a great way to start in terms of structure and an arc. And also just make sure you know the basics of 3-act structure. All kinds of things to learn about so that you can identify the structure and overall arc of your book before you start writing it. Number 4, finally, we have all those aforementioned words, stories, and ideas floating around in your head. Now, my current client project is incredibly research heavy. That's an understatement, and I love it. It's so funny. Just a little side note here. I realize I'm still like that person back in nursing school getting my Bachelor of Science degree, that I was like the only one I think that really loved doing research and term papers, going down into the basement of the University of Rhode Island library and doing, those giant journals that could, hurt someone. They were so heavy, those medical journals and Journal of, New England Journal of Medicine, all those journals, all the microfiche, organizing all that research, doing the papers. I realize I'm still doing that today. I'm doing it for a living, writing books. That's so weird. I think my fellow nursing students wouldn't be surprised, though. Anyway, I digressed. So what I do before I start the actual chapter writing, I make sure to do a thorough research inventory and sorting. Now, please don't confuse inventory and sorting with committing every detail of all your research and all your content in your future book to memory. That's not what I'm talking about. No matter what type of book you're writing, think familiarization. Gain a lay of the land mentally, whether in your, and you can write it down too, but definitely get a lay of the land, whether in your book blueprint or in my case, the gigantic box of science that will serve as source material for my client's future book. No matter what type of book you're writing, the goal is to know where to find what you need when it's time to write about it. So those are the 4 things I do before writing a book. And I have found that investing this time, investing the development, contemplating, and brainstorming time into these 4 areas makes the actual book writing process itself infinitely easier. Take the time to spin the elements of your future book around in your head, kind of like, ingredients in a mixing bowl with a blender, and you'll likely find that when it does come time to write, the book itself will already be on the tip of your pen, ready to be written. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook for motivation, accountability, book writing, publishing, resources, and more. And yet another link for the show notes today, the Inc. Authors group on Facebook. Until tomorrow, happy writing.